Hi, welcome back to the channel. All right, I do a monthly tier list with all the champions in the game. You can filter the spreadsheet by battlegrounds, war, general use, the whole thing, right? We really want to tailor it, make it available for a variety of people who play the game in a variety of ways, but I have been asked to still do a bit of a tier list, get some thoughts on this Magica, the X-Magica Saga champions. There are a lot of resources coming through, and honestly, doing this exercise helped me think about who do I really want to use my 6 stones and all this on. I'm going to go ahead and remove this face cam because you want to be able to see that whole screen. And let's go ahead and talk about these champions. 2 things though before I do that. 1, massive shout out to Miss DK. She put together this whole thing. Now I did the colors and the letters, but the rest of this was put together by her. So that's a ton of the work. Go follow her on Twitter. You can get these amazing infographics, and she does so many wonderful graphics for me, the VBC, thumbnails, PFPs, the whole things for me as well too. So I cannot compliment and shout her out enough. And then also, make sure you play these champions. None of these champions are outright terrible, except for Super Scroll, maybe. But none of them are terrible. And I always say, the best champion to use your resources on is the one that you enjoy, because you're going to know how to use them. 1, it's a game. You should have fun doing it. But 2, honestly, you're going to probably get better results because this game is so deep, so rich, so complex. You're going to know how to use them. And also, I will go ahead and put this up on my own Twitter, so make sure you go and follow me there if you want the screenshot size, and you go ahead and take a look at it there. All right, let's go ahead and get to those champions. Let's talk about some of them. All right, we are getting rank up resources, 45 gems, 6 stones, all this stuff for 7-star, 6-star, and I believe 5-star as well. That's why Magic has to be there. I know she's tagged, so if there's just no resources to use for Magic, I'm sorry, but if there are, yes, I will be using them on my Magic too, although she's already, I think, ascended rank 5 and Sig 200, so I guess I won't be, but you get the point. I did want to point that out with her. She's kind of one outlier in this whole group. So let's go ahead and go on. I'm going to just talk about 1 or 2 champions per row. You can see there, we've got A plus A, B plus B, or less, because there are some that I think are less than B. But as I said, if you know how to play this champion, you really enjoy them, you're probably going to get some great results. Also, some of these champions are very, very new, right? Like the Serpent's on there. Deathless King Groot's not even in the game. We don't know what his kit looks like. The Destroyer, even White Tiger. Take that with a grain of salt. Make sure you play them. You may enjoy them more, less, have a different value or opinion on them than I do. So go ahead and take that into consideration as well. But you can see the red is A+. These are the best of the best. And you can see, I think it's only 4 champions, 5 if you include Magic, got that. With Kate Bishop, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Nick Fury, and Kingpin, I've been saying for a long time, I don't expect to see those champions maybe ever as 7 stars. And if so, definitely not for a very, very long time, because they have different parts about their kit that I think make quests and defenders and things like that very difficult to design. So as a result, they might get kind of the Quake or Magic treatment where we just don't see them in the kind of the most high-end star variety for a very, very long time. As a result, they make phenomenal, that's right, phenomenal options when you're thinking about taking them to rank 5. I don't think there's any Ascension per se available in any of these quests, but Ascending and definitely taking to Sig 200 to make them as powerful as possible. Cosmic Ghost Rider maybe being the one exception there with the Sig, but still, it's nice to have them as powerful as they possibly can be, even though that Sig doesn't add too much from having escalated, right? The first initial awakening is fantastic. Kate Bishop, it's phenomenal at Sig 200, Fury, and of course Kingpin as well. Then moving on to the yellow, and then there's a lot of yellow, and that's because they either are extremely highly rated, right? If you watch my monthly tier list, which I will link in the description, hopefully you are watching that. It's phenomenal. And the spreadsheet is amazing. Thank you, Spreadsheet Wizards, MCoC Illuminati, for sharing all that information. They're either in the highest tier or the second tier. So these are fantastic champions, and or they're not available as a 7-star or something like that, right? There's some sort of mitigating factor for why they didn't get the absolute red circle. The first 2 I'll just kind of point out, and I'll use them as an example for it, is Bishop and Kushala, right? Both fantastic, fantastic champions. Bishop, as that Sig goes up, becomes better defensively. So if you're using them for battlegrounds or something like that, or you want to use the unblockable, and I believe it's Ankit who's really shown that, in the preceding fights or the preceding fights, I think if the word is, or the secondary fights, you can use that Sig to your benefit. And then Kushala, I have a rank 3 Kushala. She's unawakened. Now, you've seen me do a tremendous amount of great things with her. We've used her in Tier 1 War. We've used her in Necropolis for a variety of solos. I've used her in Battlegrounds. I've used her in questing, the whole thing. And I'll get out the Battlegrounds video soon, depending on when these come out. And all this is without her awakened. not even awakened. But I will admit, and I will say, and this is one of the things that's really cool about her, even though she's recently been promoted to the highest tier in my tier list in Battlegrounds and in general tier list, if she was awakened and at a very high sig, she'd be even more powerful. There'd be fights you could take with her where the champion is potentially shrugging your debuffs or things like that. And it is helpful with pausing her spell. So these are perfect examples for champions who, they are available 7 stars. That's why they don't have that red circle like Nick Fury and Kingpin. But they are so incredibly powerful, making them perfect second tiers. This is still an A champion, right? We've got Professor X is available as a 7-star, but that's still very, very rare. I do like his awakened abilities very much. Clairvoyant is someone who could have had a red circle, right? Black Widow Clairvoyant, but she's got the yellow because, I recognize I don't think her power level and her relevance is quite as strong as some of these other champions, moving like Wolverine Weapon X. Not even available as a 7-star. Part of me wanted to put him as, with the red circle, but I don't think he's not available due to brokenness or his overpowered level, his OP level, more due to there just hasn't been a sale that he has been part of, right? And I don't think he's as strong as Fury, Kingpin, CGR, and Kate Bishop. Then let's go ahead and talk about some of the blue, the B+ options. Now, these are champions who are, again, very, very strong. If you look at my tier list, you're going to see them primarily in the second, maybe a few in the third tier. Often, a lot of them are available as 7 stars and 6 stars. Let's go ahead and quickly talk about Danny Moonstar, since I know a lot of you know I have a rank 3 Danny. I just love the champion. When you can line everything up and play her well, the results are so incredibly powerful. There's so much packed into her kit. She also is incredibly frustrating to play, right? Things can go wrong, or if you make a single mistake, just the whole thing falls apart. She's very, very fragile. She's not resilient in that way. Also, in order to really use her great against like Nick Fury, who she can be great for, I've shown that to you in videos and I'll show it to you again. She can be great for him, but you want her awakened and at least at that SIG 20, getting that up there. And even that doesn't guarantee you're going to finish off the second life. She can be used against Hercules, which again, I have shown you and I will continue to show you. So getting her awakened and getting her SIG up is really great. I was genuinely happy when I awakened my 7-star rank 3, not only for prestige reasons, but because it was going to allow me to start taking other fights. So this is the sort of thing that I would recommend you start considering when you've got these really precious resources here at your availability or at your disposal. The other one I want to talk about is Thing. The Thing was a very tough one for me to rank because if you go or to give a circle to, because if you go strictly by my tier list and my Battlegrounds tier list, he's in a very high tiers. He is a good champion. Now, offensively, he's fallen off quite a bit as science has gotten so incredibly strong, but he does have a lot of immunities, right, that make him someone that you want to use, can be fun in incursions, and then, of course, is a very, very strong defender. You also want the SIG escalating, but so many people have options for him now. Sometimes he's not even in my Battlegrounds deck. So I did move him down to the B+ tier. Keep in mind, B+ blue circle, as far as this infographic is concerned, is a very, very, very good champion. And then Gore. Gore's another one I wanted to talk about because he was tough for me to rank. If I go personally purely by my own general tier list, he really should be a yellow. But I personally don't like Gore. I find playing him, I find he's very rigid. Matchups I want to take with him, I don't enjoy doing it because of what feels like his need to land a lot of lights in a row. It's very disruptive, and I don't feel like he comes with a ton of utility or a massive damage I can rely on without that rigidity. And so this is my own personal, I didn't run this by the Illuminati. I actually have him as a blue B+ option because he is also available as a 7-star. So I think that's something to keep in mind. As I look at Gore, I realized I wanted to briefly talk about Gladiator. He's going to get buffed soon, okay? And I think that information will become available soon. I think we're going to end up with a good champion, but really, time will tell. Please don't invest in Gladiator based solely on this graphic just yet. Wait another week or two, please, please, please. Do yourself a favor. And then let's quickly talk about the green circle here, the B or less. Like I said earlier in the video, none of these champions are bad. Even Super Scroll, all jokes aside, B McG really enjoys and has done some cool stuff with him. So none of these champions are terrible. And actually, they're very good examples of what I'm saying is, if you like a champion, rank them up, especially ones on this list, you're probably going to do some really great things with them. But these are some, there's a variety of champions here. Like, I do believe that Emma Frost is better and more relevant in today's game than Dr. Voodoo. But the fact of the matter is, Dr. Voodoo can put out some delightful, delicious damage there in the right scenario, you know, to play him. Gambit, I actually have a rank 2 Gambit, have done some really cool stuff. The interesting thing with him, though, is that it feels like the mutant nukes that you're often wanting to use are now available as 7 stars. And so they've kind of caught up with him, and I found that I'd rather have my Gambit Relic on my Nightcrawler or on my Danny Moonstar. And so as a result, I have to just kind of push him down. Again, these aren't bad champions. They're not as overall powerful. They're not going to be as widely usable for you. Same with like Wanda, right? She's phenomenal if you can get her at a super high sig and then put on the Quicksilver synergy. But that's a lot of contingencies when you're looking at using your precious resources. There's a bunch of mystics on this list that I really would advise you to look at considering using instead of on her. And then we'll quickly talk about, let's go with Silver Surfer. He's an interesting one because a lot of the folks on the MCU Illuminati actually really enjoy playing him. I am not one of them. I don't find him fun. I find that often when one of the first things when someone says is, well, you got to bring along this synergy, I'm already a little bit like skeptical, because unless you're talking about a Mega Red or something like that, and that sort of power level, I'm already like, okay, I'm using a spot up. I can't do that in Battlegrounds. I can't do that in War. And then when questing, if it's that tough of a thing, I kind of want all 3 or 5 of those spots available to me. So that's why for me, Silver Surfer's there, despite me recognizing and agreeing that if you put him in with Odin, you might have a really, really good time. Like I said, go ahead, please support Miss DK. And if you're looking for a screenshot size edition of this, go ahead, follow me on Twitter. I will be putting that up pretty soon after this video comes out. Let me know what you think I got right. Let me know what you think I got wrong. Always do enjoy reading your well-informed opinions as well. And then it helps me give out better advice as I continue to make more videos. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.